Welcome to Explorer's Guide Maritime Academy help videos on your application. I'm Captain Gary Kulibert, the application reviewer and one of the head instructors for Explorer's Guide. The last piece of the process of submitting your application is the course certificate and the actual submitting of the application itself. You don't have to have a course, take a course, pay for a course. You can do the exams at the Regional Examination Center. They're difficult to do. People do it. They do pass them, but it can be quite challenging. Most people will do a course and then submit the course certificate on it. Also, you don't have to have the course certificate to submit your application. It can be done submitted at a later date. And I really encourage people that are taking a course to go ahead, work on the application beforehand. And if possible, if it's complete, send it in. And we'll talk about how to send it in. You'll get a letter to test. And then when the course is completed, all you need to do is send in a certificate. And shortly thereafter, you will get your credentials on it. If you're in a hurry, that's the best way to do it. It is possible. If you can potentially get a license in 4 weeks from the time you decide, hey, I want it, and get it. If you can get the physical and a bunch of other things we've already talked about done and get into a course, but get the application ahead of time, and it's possible to really expedite it. Depends how quickly you want your license. But in any case, getting it together before the class is not a bad idea. Okay, the certificate you will get from a school is good for 1 year. Now, I bring this up, I bring it up in class, I bring it up at other times, because I do have about 10% of people in class will forget about it, not get around to it, and after 1 year from the date it's issued, it is no longer valid. And the only way you can get a certificate is to go back and redo the class. So again, we really emphasize the importance of getting the application, and that's why, again, I suggest doing as much as you can up front on it. The NMC, again, will not accept the course certificate if it's over 1 year old. I've mentioned it, and I'll mention it again. We have submitted partial applications to the REC so that the cert would not be void. I've had guys up to the last day or two, and right away what we did is they fill out the 3-page application, sent that in with the course certificate to stop the 1 year time period. Then they would get a letter, a 60-day letter to submit the rest of the stuff in. So in an emergency, in a pinch, a simple 3-page application and a certificate will end that 1 year expiration process. Now, your application can be sent to any regional examination centers, RECs. Do not send it to the National Maritime Center. They'll send it right back. They can be submitted by hand delivering. You make an appointment, show up. They will go over it with you, make sure it's complete, and then it's in the process. You can fax it in. You can mail it in. And if you're going to mail, I would mail, again, copies. Don't send in originals. And finally, scan and email in. It must be sent to the Regional Exam Center, and again, not to the National Maritime Center. Big point. We go to the NMC's website, and on the left side, you'll see Regional Examination Centers, and this is what it looks like. Basically, down below are a listing of all the centers. You click on it, and you're going to get their address, their fax number, and you're going to get an email address. You will not get a phone number. Phone numbers all go back through the National Maritime Center's help desk on it. So you can decide which way is the best for you to send it in. If it's emailed in, on the subject line, you're going to put your last name, then first name, middle initial, and the last 4 of your social. And then in the body of it, I just put down what I'm sending in. Joe Smith's application for the OUPV. And then The ones we send into are Toledo or St. Louis and out on the West Coast, Oakland. But there's 18 of them, 17 of them. You can send it to any one of them. Some are a lot quicker than others. For example, Toledo during the February, March, April time are bogged down, and they're at least 2 to 3 days, if not longer, just to simply get it looked at and then sent into the NMC. The RECs, what they have to do, and you send them a paper application, they have to scan it and then forward it in. They don't have the best of scanners. That's why I like the email approach. They can check it to make sure everything's there, and they simply forward the PDF file onto the NMC. A lot quicker than having them rescan everything and sending it in. If you have questions, down at the bottom is their email address and their phone number. What I suggest to a lot of people too is once you send it in, wait a couple days, wait about 4 or 5 days, then call the NMC contact help desk and simply ask if they got it. And they'll be able to look at the database and see if it's already been registered. That way you know that when you sent it in, that it's actually in the system. We've had problems in other years where everything got sent in, but either got lost or not properly processed right away. You don't want to have that situation. You want to make sure you call and ask, have you got it? And then they'll let you know, and again, keep you informed as it goes through the various processes of it. You can do a status checkup by the email listed above. It's sometimes it's kept up to date, sometimes it's not. And then in the same area, you can actually get a certificate once your license is issued for a wall hanger. Because remember now, our licenses, it looks like a passport. This is actually a PDF file like the old certificates used to be. Once your application is sent in, as I mentioned before, give them a call. Your license is good for 5 years. In the 4th year, you start the process off. They will hold everything until a month before, and then they will go ahead and issue it. That way you get the maximum out of your time period on it. So again, this is the end point. We've talked about all the various parts of the application process. Now we've talked about how to send it in. I hope you found these videos helpful. And I understand, they're not Hollywood quality, but I really want to get the information out to you just like I do in class, because it'll help you get that through a lot quicker, with a lot less mistakes. For every mistake that's out there, they're going to send you a letter, an email first, and then they're going to send you an AI letter, a request for additional information. If you do get that email and it says that we have a question, call the 888 number right away and ask them, what is it? And then you can go ahead and respond to that before you get the letter. That way, again, you're cutting down the review time, especially if you're in a hurry on it. We've seen these things go through where after the class, everything is done properly. In 3 to 4 weeks, they got their license in hand. First thing you'll get is, of course, your medical certificate. And then, again, a period of time thereafter, you'll actually get the credentials. Again, I hope this helps out. Make the process a lot simpler, a lot less unenjoyable, because we've had our share of problems over time. Again, best of luck. This is Captain Gary Kulibert with Explorer's Guide Maritime Academy Help Videos.